Hello YouTube, this is Frank, and this is January 11th, 2024, and this is my 74th video, and this will be 1 out of 5 Libre videos that I'm working on, and we'll cover the Frite, Alta, Solitude, and Sweet Potato from Libre Computer. And the videos, the first one is an overview, the next one is Frite, Sweet Potato, Solitude, and Alta. And I will be using a refurbished PC running Windows 10 Pro on these videos. Now on my table I'm working on a project. Professor Shaman, he put his video lectures on the internet, and I'm working through those, and this is not part of my series of videos, but you'll see those computers on my table. Let me show you what I got right here. I'm gonna take this on. All right. Let's see if I can remember what I'm supposed to say. Disclosure, I have no financial, employment, or personal or family relationship with any brand or product. I purchase all the products that appear in my videos with my money. I'm retired. I just putter around with computers, networking, and software. These are the video series that I've got planned right here. The intro, overview, the Frite, potato, sweet potato, the Solitude, and the Alta. And we're just going to play around with those new computer boards. They all the computer boards in this series use the UEFI firmware, and I believe I've got a thing. This is what I'm talking about right here. The Frite, sweet potato, the Solitude, and Alta. Let's see here now. Yeah, on my table I've got what my major project that I'm working on, and that's just going through that advanced Unix programming in the Unix environment with Professor Shaman. I've got one potato is running Armbian, another potato is running NetBSD 9.3, and I've got a Frite that's running NetBSD 10 release candidate 1. Professor Shaman, he teaches this class, and I've learned a lot just watching Wizard Shaman work his magic on those lecture videos. Now, when I put the NetBSD 10 release candidate 1 on the Frite, I believe I had to use one of the historical firmware versions to get that going. Now, I use a uninterruptible power supply with a pure sine wave. You'll see on my table I've got a UPS and these Libre computers. Preliminaries, the Alta that I've got is the 4 gigabyte model, and I paid $60. The Solitude, I'm using the 4 gigabyte model, and I paid $45. The sweet potato, I paid $30 for that, and the Frite, and I paid $20 for that board. For reference, the potato the leaf potato is $35, Renegade $35, and Tritium $35. I may have paid $30. I forgot. And just for reference, the Raspberry Pi uses a ARM Cortex 72, and the Raspberry Pi 3 uses an ARM Cortex A53. The Alta, it's got a big little architecture where the operating system scheduler handles the load balancing, and I have not worked with a system like that, so I'm looking forward to playing around with that. On my table, I'll be using a power supply with a rocker switch, 16 gig EMC card from Libre Computer, and I like the PNY Premier X cards that come in the 5-card bulk pack. I've got some USB drives that I'll be playing with. One 120 gigabyte solid state disk, USB to SATA adapter for that solid state disk, an Adafruit 954 cable, Walmart Ethernet cable, Walmart HDMI cable, the Netgear 8-port switch, guitar picks, a USB 3.0 male-to-male cable, Rufus, my software, these are software, Rufus, Kermit, Putty, iOzone, Raspberry Pi, agnostics, and I use sandwich bags to keep my projects in, and with index cards, and for my backup, I use Blu-ray BD-RE and the M discs for my backup. Let me just show you what I've got on my table before I get too far. I'll show you what I'm talking about. This is my table. Let's see now. I like a switch with I like a rocker switch. Oops, let me get over here. I got to move my table over here. All right. I like a rocker switch. Mesh it towards the outlet it's on. Mesh it towards the power supply, and it's off. So you can visibly see what position that power switch is in before you plug it up to your board. I get those from Vilros. The 16 gigabyte card, I got that from Libre Computer. We'll be using that in our videos. The PNY 5-pack cards, 64 gigabyte cards. They come in the bulk package, and this is what I've been using for the last 9 months for my projects. Bulk drive, bulk USB. We'll just be playing around with some USB drives, and I buy the bulk packages if I can help it. They're usually get a better deal on your bulk packages. I'll be playing around with the a 120 gigabyte SATA solid state hard disk. Now I use an adapter whenever I use whenever I plug in an external device into these potatoes right here. I like to put an extra external power whenever I connect up those things. Let me see. Oops. Adafruit there's my Adafruit adapter. Right now it's connected to my Frite that I'm running for my project for Professor Shulman. And while I'm here, this is what I'm talking about. See all these computers right here, all these Libre computers. I'm using that with with Professor Shulman's course. He put all of his lectures on the internet for free, and I'm just working through it. I've got a long ways to go. Let's see. I use Walmart Cat 6 cables, and that's, you see, that's hooked up to my Libre computers. Walmart HDMI cable, Netgear 8-port switch right here. I'll be using that. The guitar picks. We'll be using some guitar picks. They really come in handy when you're working with microcontrollers, single board computers. The male cable. This is my male-to-male cable I will be using. That's about a 3-foot cable right there. Let's see, my software, and let me get my mouse. I'm going to scroll down a little bit here. Now I use for my project, I use sandwich bags. These sandwich bags and index cards. When I'm doing a project, if I get to a stopping place or I want to kind of move to another project and keep my card safe and remember what I was doing, I use index cards and sandwich bags. And let me show you what I'm talking about right here. This is my filing system right here for my cards. So I put my index card and my SD card in the sandwich bag, and I can come back to work on my project if I need to. And this is a Puffs Plus Lotion index card folder. I have not tried other index holders, but this one seems to work good for me. Now my backup, I use Verbatim -RE, and I use Verbatim M-Disk. Let me see if I can get that right. Focus in there. I use the M-Disk. Yeah, it's not, there we go, there's it focusing. All right, let me get back over here. I think that's what I was wanting to show on my table. Oops, I got to get my mouse and my ruler. Now I did want to spend some time, oops, and I got to move my camera back up. I did want to spend a few minutes on the SD cards. I use those PNY Premier X cards. They come in 5-card packs, and they're $5 for 5 cards for $30. Sometimes you can get them on sale for $25 on the Walmarts or the Amazon. Now there's a lot of things going on with these SD cards. There's the reader speed, the bus mode, bus frequency, card speed, card endurance, SLC, MLC, TLC, you'll see those. Low voltage signaling, your card rating, app rating, your U rating, V rating, and your class. You'll see a lot of that on your SD cards. Now there's also things that affect your SD cards, or your file system and your management. Uninterruptible power supply. Now most of my single board computers are on a uninterruptible power supply, and I forgot to show you that. While I'm thinking about it, I'm going to just show you, because it's right here, right down there. I use a uninterruptible power supply on almost all of my computers. Because if your power goes out while your single board computer is writing to the disk, it may have errors. It may produce errors on your card. Another thing is your SD card replacement schedule. If you've got a long-term project, it may be worthwhile to just replace those SD cards on the schedule and back up your pictures, data, text, code, firmware. Now, I worked in IT for 36 years, and I never lost any data. And there's a lot of ways to lose data besides having a disk or a media crash. And just expect your card, hard disk or solid state disk to fail sometime, and start your backup plan right now before you go any further. Decide on how you're going to back up your data. I use those verbatim Blu-ray recordable discs and verbatim Blu-ray M disc for long-term storage. For references, Wikipedia, Thomas Kaiser, he has a good page. Libre Computer, SD Association, look at their white papers on their site. Raspberry Pi, they've got a good paper on making a more resilient file system. The government of Canada, for your backup, they've got some good tips on your backup. I think I've got it on right here. Tips for backing up your for your data. They have a table. They also have a table for CDs, DVDs, and Blu-rays. If you kind of scroll down, just scroll down. They've got a table down here. So keep on scrolling. Here's the table right here. Now I use the Blu-ray erasable disc, and their longevity is 20 to 50 years. That's one thing I use. I use the Blu-ray M discs, and those are rated for several hundred years. But they've got a table and kind of give you an idea of how long you can expect your data to stay safe on there. But that's back up. Let me get back over here to my and I made several videos on SD cards. I wouldn't watch any of them. They're not very good. I did not understand those micro SD cards. The only ones that are worthwhile are the ones that I made for the SDR 104 mode, and the one that reboots the computer every 10 minutes. I wrote a cron job that rebooted the potato every 10 minutes, and it verified that the Premier X cards were in the SDR 104 mode, and that the 3.3 and the 1.8 volt thing was working. Now, if you go to the SD organization website on their white papers, they tell you on this SD card specification 6, where they talk about their 3.3 and 1.8 volt signaling, and they've got it. The specification 6 says they could auto detect with those cards. So low voltage signaling introduces the signaling, lets the device start in either 1.8 rather than without having to go through the 3.3 volt initialization. Now, I just kind of stumbled up. I'm a dum-dum. I just stumbled into this right here, and I just noticed that those P and Y Premier X cards would reboot, staying in that 1.8 volt mode, SDR 104 mode. And that's that video 70 that I was talking about. I rebooted it every 10 minutes and let it run for several days, and I did not see a problem with that. If you go to the SD Association's website, the A1 is defined in the 5.1 spec, and the A2, that's that 6.0 spec. Just Google for SD Card Association, low voltage and SD card application performance. Another one, now looking at how those SD cards are made, Google for SD card, SLC, and MLC, TLC, and several of the manufacturers have a web page on these web cards. From the Centon web page, they give you some information, give you an idea of how long those, how many program and erase cycles you might expect from these various cards. Now, I think most of the consumer SD cards are the TLC cards, and from the and Centon was saying that your consumer quality is going to be on the low end, and your industrial quality cards are going to be kind of on the high end of these cards. Just to give you an idea, just take some kind of 64 gigabyte consumer grade card, just multiply it by 500 cycles, you get 32 terabytes, and if you divide 32 terabytes by 365 days, that'd be 87 gigabytes a day. For 5 years, 17 gigabytes per day, and for 10 years, 8 gigabytes per day. So on my projects, I don't have anything that really that uses nearly the gigabytes per day there. The course I'm taking with or going through with Professor Shaman, I don't use nearly that much gigabytes per day, and I've just haven't had no problem with those PMY cards. Libre Computer, they have their own SD card recommendations, and I suggest the users follow Libre Computer recommendations. I don't offer any support for my routines or techniques. So I've got a table here. This is what I do, and this is what Libre Computer recommends for SD cards. I use those BNY Premier X cards. Libre Computer recommends Samsung and SanDisk cards, and if you have an application where you need more high quality, use endurance or industrial cards. Now, I believe I've got here's like a Samsung Pro Endurance card right there. That's probably something like Libre Computer would recommend. EMC modules, I use their EMC modules. For an external disk, I've got just a small solid state disk that I use for just playing around. Operating systems, use the operating systems on Libre's website, because they support the operating systems that are on their website. Now I do use Armbian. Igor Pichovnik is the guy over there, and I like the way he did his device tree. You can get recent Linux kernels for the potato, and these new boards, I have no experience on Armbian on those, so I can't say anything about that. But see, here's the web page for the Linux kernel, and you can see that these are the recent Linux kernels. And if you go to the Armbian web page, just scroll down to the bottom of the page, and here's the bottom of the page. See, Linux 6.7 and 6.611. If you want to play around with the very latest new Linux kernels, now they tell you, and I'll tell you too, they don't offer any support for these new kernels. They're just it's up to you to provide the support for these. If you run into a problem, now if you want a stable release, they tell you use the stable builds, and those would be the let me get back over here. This would be the stable builds on the Libre Computer website. Just for the heck, yeah, let me see. I've got that Frite that I'm using for Professor Sherman's class. Let me see. Yeah, there's see, it's I'm running NetBSD 10.0 release candidate 1. That's just if you're interested in that kind of thing. Power supply. Use the power supply that Libre Computer suggests. I use the Philrose Raspberry Pi power supplies, because they're the ones that have the let me get this right here. See right here, they've got the rocker switch that I like. Support. Stick to Libre's Computer if you want them to support your operating system or your board. They do not support anything over here on my side of this table. But anyway, that's the video for right now. This is the part 1 out of 5 that I'm going to be doing. So thank you for watching.